us for her presence, Miss Habiba Kahinde. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks. It's really nice to see you guys again.
So without much ado, I want to welcome Camilla Nontra.
Yay!
Oh my goodness. I should come to you every day when I need.
Correct. This is Sudan.
Wow.
Sudan. Believe it or not, Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt.
Interesting.
Begin to think in a Pan-African way, because they now see that their conditions are not just about that local space, but the condition is linked to all of the other.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pan-Africana show. I'm so excited. That's why I took a pause. Well, as you see, there's four of us here. Before we're going to start anything, we want to give praise to whom praise is due. We want to start by thanking God. By Him we live, we move, and have our being. Good morning from San Diego. Good morning from where our guest is. Good afternoon if you live on the East Coast, like my two co-hosts are, and good evening if you live where I come from. I'm going to hand over to our new co-host who started with us last week, and then she will hand over to Jessie. Hi, Kechi.
Hi guys. So it's officially 12:30 here. Well, 12:31. So it is afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. This is in Kichi. Hi guys. I officially started last week. I'm not sure how many of you guys tuned in to see my red carpet, but it is a pleasure to be here, and I can't wait to get to know a little bit more about our guest. So Jessie.
Absolutely. Well, we are excited to have a full house today, but we are even more excited to have a wonderful guest. I want to introduce you all to someone who has been the Social Justice Committee Chair for the National Council of Negro Women. If you don't know what that is, you're going to learn today. A mother, an activist, an organizer, a world traveler, even a Black comic book nerd, which I am excited to hear about. So without further ado, I want to introduce the world to Miss Stephanie Collier. How you doing? What's going on?
Thank you all so much for inviting me to be a guest. As a matter of fact, I just left our National Council of Negro Women section meeting, the Ruth Jones McClendon section in San Antonio. We're doing our strategic planning for the year, so this is timely.
Absolutely. Well, let me just get started on that angle. Could you explain to people who may be unfamiliar with your organization? Can you explain what the National Council of Negro Women is?
Well, sure. In a nutshell, the National Council of Negro Women, its headquarters in Washington, D.C. We have sections throughout the United States and abroad. We are a member-based organization that is all about policy advocacy for communities of color, but really for our all communities. As you know, when we do better, everybody else does better. So we were founded by Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, and that work carried into the civil rights movement. Dr. Dorothy Height, our president is now Johnetta Cole. So many fabulous women across the country, across the world are helping us to advocate on behalf of women and children especially, but communities of color.
And is actually one of the oldest Black organizations in America. I remember reading stories about the founding of. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. We're like the organization of organizations, so an umbrella organization, if you will. So the links, the sororities, so many. I can't call them all, but we're like an umbrella of organizations that work together to uplift our communities.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Jonathan says hi. How are you doing, Jonathan? Welcome to the show.
So sorry, Jessie.
No, I was just gonna ask Stephanie, like, where are you local? Where do you call home?
Well, I just say Texas. I'm all over. I have a home in Austin. My two beautiful children, they are in college. My daughter is a sophomore at the University of Texas at the Red McComb School of Business. She's got a 4.0 GPA. Thank you very much. My son, he is a junior at Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. And I work out of the Dallas field office for Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service as a civil servant, federal employee.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Wow. Kichi, good.
So I was going to actually just ask you to do a brief introduction because, believe it or not, a lot of people probably don't know who Stephanie is. So just give us an introduction about who you are, where you're from, what you do, and you already gave us a snippet about your organization, but we'd also like to know about what made you get involved in the organization that you're currently a part of.
Sure. So just a tiny bit about me. I'm born and raised in Texas. I say raised. Most of my life I've been in Texas. I was also a military brat, so that's where the world traveler piece comes in. I still love to travel. I'm a foodie. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm a nerd, period. But I like comic books. I love reading. Just what I get bored. So whatever interests me. I am a partner dancer. I love to do Chicago step, Texas swing out, salsa. I even learned some moves when I was in Ghana. The kids showed me some moves. I was done. I was down. So a little bit about the work I do. I'm just want to put this out here. I'm not here on behalf or representing the United States government in any way, but I am employed as a federal mediator. I get to mediate labor disputes, hopefully prevent disputes, teach conflict resolution, and through employment mediation. So I'm a commissioner with Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. I decided to take that path. I worked for AT&T, the phone company, as people would reference it, for 27 years. While I was there, I was the member of the labor union, Communication Workers of America. Worked my way up through the ranks to become a staff representative, where I was responsible for negotiating and enforcing labor agreements. And so that all ties into why I decided to get active with the National Council of Negro Women, with NAACP, and just really as my civic duty as a citizen, because when I say I'm speaking about African Americans. Everything comes back to the value of our labor in this country, and so knowing that, it informs me and in the work that I do. I have a historical perspective, which Jesse's going to ask me some questions about my genealogy, but all of that is why I stay involved, because it's necessary. If you're watching the news, there's a lot going on with our legislatures at all levels right now, and so it's critical to our survival to not only understand it, but to engage and be active.
All right. So tell us about your trip to Ghana. What caused you to travel, and then we'll start from there, and then we'll pick it up from there.
Sure. So it's something I always wanted to do, but I had a hiatus, like between jobs. I had the time and I had a little bit of cash, and I was 50-ish. I was coming up on 50, so I don't want to say it was a midlife crisis, but it was like a midlife pause. I had done my genealogy tests, like the Ancestry.com test, where you can get your DNA done. And I watched the show the day that Jesse revealed his, and I had like a similar reaction. But I didn't know the specific tribe, so it broke down like by countries. So 60% West African and about 40% European.
Oh,
that
wow.
that blew my mind because I really didn't expect that the latter percentage to be so high.
Yeah.
And I've always had this interest in the continent because I grew up in the early 70s. My parents were pro-black, extra black. we knew the country, the names. We had the Jet and the Ebony magazine. I remember seeing Muhammad Ali in the streets with the kids, surrounded by the kids. I remember seeing Anwar Sadat, and he said, "I'm black like you," when he came to the United States. And I said, one day I'm going to go. And so I just decided to make it happen. When I got there, I had a lovely host, the Obing family, and the Quartes. They met me at the airport, and I kept thinking, how the heck are they going to find me in the airport? My mind is thinking, like American, right? But when I got off the plane, I got in the baggage claim, walked outside, I felt like I stood out, and it was like an internal thing. I'm like, what was I thinking? Of course I'm going to look different. They came to me right away. They found me. And I just was so excited. And I'll tell you this, every fiber of my being just relaxed. I felt like I was home. Everything was beautiful. It was like sensory overload, because we don't see ourselves on billboards necessarily.
Absolutely.
We don't see ourselves in every occupation. It was just amazing. And the first morning I woke up, I walked outside, got on the balcony of the second floor of the Obing's home. And the first thought I had was, I understand now why they stole this. I understand why they stole us, because the Ghanaians to me are just beautiful. Everybody was like glistening and moisturized and happy and smiling. And, the whole vibe was relaxed. And I'm like, yeah, I understand why they stole this. This is beautiful. My trip was lovely. I didn't understand the language, but I understood the sentiments because I saw so many echoes of African American culture, and just made me proud to know that I came from this place. And it also was like I had redeemed something for my ancestors. Like I say this all the time. If you want to see a miracle, look at any Black person in the diaspora, because we survived centuries of brutality and still having to deal with it here. And I really felt like I had reclaimed something. Like they didn't kill our spirit. And it also was an opportunity for me to go back home, and people welcomed me, hugged me everywhere I went, invited me to come eat. They wanted to show me things. I had never felt hospitality like that. And I'm from the South, by the way, where, hospitality is something we do. So much. But man, I ate so much kelewele and bread and jollof rice. And oh man, I wanted to do it all. I wanted to get it all over me. And went to Cape Coast. I stayed in Cape Coast. And when I tell you, when I walked out of the door of no return, I was in tears. It just did something to me. You could feel it in the air, the misery, the pain. And the guide, he spun me around and he said, "Look up." They have you walk through that door. They turn you around and say, "Look up." And when I looked up, I saw that it was the door of return. Man, it was like chains, hundreds of years of chains breaking for me. It was like being born again. Sorry, Pastor, but that's what it felt like. It made me feel like very powerful, because I had an understanding that nobody could snatch from me. I touched that same sand where probably some of my ancestors left off of that shore. And I felt like I really, really reclaimed something. I even did my host. I had a Black Panther t-shirt and video. I took a DVD for the kids to watch Black Panther. And I put my T-shirt on and I took a picture on the beach, standing under the black star with I did the Wakanda symbol, and I said, we can really make this happen. Like, even though, that's a movie and there were characters, but we really can shape our world. We don't have to settle for what somebody else tells us, and we should be reaching across the water. We should be reaching out like we are virtually to keep those bonds strong.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I want to ask, because I've got a similar trip coming up for May of next year. How did you go about locating like your host family? And what did you notice anything when you got there that changed your perspective when you came back? Did it change how you work? Did it change how you operate? Did it change your mindset here?
Yes. So my host family, so it goes back to the genealogy thing. A gentleman that I follow on Facebook, his name is Melvin Collier. He is a genealogist, and no relation, by the way.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, we share the same last name. But I followed him, and what got me interested in genealogy was watching a PBS show, Finding Your Roots.
Yes.
And so I just became, when I do something, I'm all in. I want to be the expert on it. So Melvin and some of his kinfolk found the link back to the motherland in Ghana. They found the genetic tide. And so they went on a trip, and he put it on Facebook, on all of his blogs. And one of the gentlemen hosted a big party in their yard. They were on the local news, and his name is William Obing and his wife, Francisca Obing. They encouraged me to come. They had a business venture with their family, and I invested, and they invited me to come. He said, hey, as a matter of fact, this week is my 3rd anniversary week of my return home. And they invited me to come. Wow. Family, his sister Rose, his sister Akoswa, and their husbands, the two Sams, and his mother. I mean, these folks rolled the red carpet out for me. The church, the ladies of the church prayed for me. They surrounded me. And when I tell you that right there, Jesse, changed how I did business. When I came back to the United States, I mean, I wear as much Afrocentric stuff in my work, in private life. I've done, recipes, done more research, done more outreach. It just really, really strengthened my advocacy for all of us in the diaspora or at home. And by the way, National Council of Negro Women, that's part of work that we've done historically.
Oh, cool. Kichi, you have a question?
Yes. So my question is, the National Council of Negro Women, what drew you to that organization? When did you join it? And is it open to the public to join?
So yes, we are always looking for more soldiers. Membership is open. The ncnw.org is our website, and you can find wherever you live. You can go there to find information about your local chapter and how to join. So what made me join? Well, back to Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. I found a picture of my great aunt, Johnny Bateman. She was an entrepreneur in San Antonio. She opened a flower shop and daycare centers in the early mid to 40s or so. And the flower shop is still in operation today, by the way, run by her granddaughters, the descendants, her descendants. At any rate, I found this picture. My cousin shared it, and it was a picture of my aunt pinning a corsage on Dr. Mary. And I thought, wow, she had come to San Antonio, because I could tell they were in a church. And what Dr. Mary was doing was fundraising to carry out her mission, for her work, not only with the National Council of Negro Women, but with her college. She had a vocational college. Okay. And so when I saw that my aunt, an entrepreneur, was heavily involved. And I knew that my grandfather was a member of the NAACP, and he was a member of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, which is the very first African-American labor union to have recognition from the Pullman Company. This was a historic thing. It just really made me say, okay, now I understand. I need to do this work. I need to continue what they started, because that is how, as a whole, Black folks made progress in this country. And, we need to continue to do that on all fronts, whether it's, community work, like feeding people, educating people. We also have to be a voice at the table on advocacy, asking questions about policy, legislation, international, foreign policy. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Who are we doing it with? How much does that cost? We have to really understand how things work. And in finding those pictures and other documents that I found when I did my research, it told me a story. It gave me some proof of what my ancestors did. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things that they did upon emancipation was negotiate labor agreements, like how much they're going to get paid now, because it's now an employer-employee relationship. Yeah. They also registered to vote. I have found their names in voter registration rolls immediately upon emancipation. And I remember the community in San Antonio. I lived on the east side of San Antonio. Everybody was in business. Everybody had a hustle. Everybody was doing something, whether you were the doctor, the baker, or the candlestick maker. And everybody supported one another. And so that's why I got involved. So I've been around in the organization, oh my goodness, since we rechartered the section and named it after a state representative, Ruth Jones McClendon. Mm-hmm. A few years back, she was one of the Democrats that fled the state the first time they pulled that stunt on the governor to hold up legislation. And if you read the news, they did it again this past session, or this current session, to stop these horrendous voting rights abuses in the state of Texas. So that's been, I can't even remember the year, about 15 years now in this particular section.
That's awesome. Yeah, your genealogy already sounds amazing.
Right.
For those people who don't know, that whole strike with the Pullman Company, that's like the precipice for why we have Labor Day. There's a whole story about that and how they were trying to use Black workers as scabs. And then when Black workers went on strike, tried to use the white workers as scabs. It's a really interesting and phenomenal thing. So to have so much history in your lineage and to see what you're doing now, is just implementing the skills that I guess is just at a genetic level, just being passed down to the next generation. That is awesome.
Well, I try to lead by example, Jesse, and my kids, I've taken them on a picket line. I've taken them when President Obama was in the campaigning phases. I went to everything, and my congresspersons would tease me and say, "Man, you're at everything. Are you running for office?" And so, yeah, it is genetic, but it's also like how I give back. To whom much is given, much is required. And so I feel a certain responsibility to do that work, to model the behavior, and to teach people. And that's what I love about what I do now as a mediator. I'm a neutral, meaning, I don't take sides in these labor disputes, but I educate, I inform. One of the things I do in particular share with persons of color is that, listen, we know how to fight. We know how to mobilize. We wrote the book on that. In the moment, we can come up with something. But what do we do when there's not the fighting? Do we know how to ask for things? Do we know how to communicate? Do we know how to negotiate? Can we solve problems together? And that's what I really love about what I get to do now.
All right. So Michael asked a question, and before I go to that, so this is the link to the National Council Negro Women. So you can click on it and go check it out. If you're joining us, okay, we'll share the page before we get done. All right. And Michael asked, I also encourage my Oduduwa brother, Professor Jesse, to visit home and enjoy all that motherland has to offer.
Yes, I am also planning my Nigeria trip. I'm trying to set it for 2023. So I should be doing, if everything works out well, I should be doing 3 consecutive trips to the continent next year, 2023, and South Africa will be last. I jumped Nigeria ahead of South Africa, Michael. You gotta go home first.
All right. So tell us about Sister Circle. I don't know whether you mentioned that earlier. What is it? And I know you founded that organization.
Well, we're not really like a formal organization. It's just a loose organization of ladies that get together. And really, my cousin Barbara Felix, she's an artist. She's amazing. She's an artist in San Antonio. She called me up. This was about a year or so ago. I know most people watching us would know who George Floyd is. George Floyd was murdered last summer, and then the fallout of just everything last summer was just so heavy and overwhelming. I had a meltdown. Most of this stuff, we see it, we process it, we respond. But this was just different. I think it was the layers of, working from home, being isolated, but seeing it play out on live TV and just I can't even describe it. It was absolutely horrible to watch. So my cousin called me one Saturday and she said, hey, I got this idea. I have all these artist friends and they're a diverse group of people. What do you think about getting them together? I said, sure. And she said, I need your help, though. I need you to moderate the discussion, help me come up with topics, help me create a resource page. We wanted to make it something that was open to anybody that wanted to talk. We also wanted to keep it private. So you have to be asked to join us, and we don't share outside of the group like what people say, but we do talk about current events. It's a safe space for people to ask questions like, why is this racist, or how do you feel about this? And we just really have a dialogue. And the idea behind that was, okay, this is heavy for everybody, and not everybody has the same exposure. Like, I'm a world traveler. I've been all over the place, back again, and still want to go. So my worldview is formed of, those experiences. But some people they never interact with Black folks, if you can believe it. I asked a question in a group one time, like, why is Black women's hair still an issue? We've been here 400 plus years, and y'all still have an issue around hair. Like, what's the mystery? So we were able to talk through that safe space and debrief it. And I love them. They really are my sisters. Those ladies are wonderful. And we've been able to create some transparency and vulnerability, in a safe space, to really be able to talk through some things and have understanding, not always agreement, but understanding about, how we feel in living here in America.
Interesting.
So I'm going to switch topics for a little bit because I am a Black comic book nerd as well. So I wanted to find out from you, first off, who are your favorite comic book characters, and kind of how did you come about getting involved in expanding people's access to Black comics and really promoting, because they don't do the best job.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, my mom had some friends and then some of my older cousins collected up like Richie Rich comic books, and I love space. I am a space nerd. I watch eclipses. I watch the rocket takeoffs. I still get excited about it. And so anything related, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of that.
Yes.
So when Black Panther came out, a friend of mine in San Antonio organized a Black Panther viewing. And we brought it, right? We extra. We extra. I wore some of my wares from the motherland. My good friend, she has she's Ghanaian and has a textile company. She brings fabrics, authentic fabrics, I might add, not the Chinese stuff. I have dresses and shirts made, so I was, head to toe, baby. Me and my kids, everybody, we were in the theater watching it together, and we had drums, we sang songs, we did it all. It was such an amazing event, and so I was doing a little bit of work with a nonprofit at the time, and one of the groups that I worked with was a Center for Story-Based Strategy. And their training coordinator, Felicia Perez, she is just, she encouraged me to try something new, because the technology in me, I'm like, yeah, I had a Twitter account, but I didn't really engage. So I attended a Black Panther fan activist con, and I learned how to do a Twitter chat. And the idea behind the fan activist con was to link up groups that don't normally work together, but are, kind of the same. So, Black comic nerds on Twitter, we promoted the event. I had Latasha Brown and my good brother, Mr. Gerald Givens. By the way, he is the president of the Raleigh-Durham NAACP branch.
Just write him down there.
Yeah, Gerald Givens. They were my two guests, and we came up with like 5 questions to talk about the movie, because this is for fans. This is for people that already watched the movie, and we teased out themes from the movie, for perspective, and then what could we bring from the movie into real life? Like, what could we make happen? So that's how all of that came together, Jesse. We turned dreams into reality, and so that really too was what inspired me to just hit buy when I bought my ticket to go to Ghana. I just closed my eyes and purchased, because I knew if I didn't do it, I probably, it would be another year before I did it. Absolutely. So yeah. So that was it. The comic world. I'll say this too, Jesse. In space and in sci-fi, everybody's equal. Based on your ability. Mm-hmm. So there ain't no racism, and if just because you're a girl, that's all right. You can freeze somebody or throw a fireball at them, or create the best vibranium, belts and stuff. You can use your abilities to the max, and so I think that world helps me to continue to dream big and think about possibilities instead of the hurt and the pain and the struggle. Right. The solution.
Absolutely. And I think that art oftentimes imitates life. So when you look at, particularly for Black superheroes, when you look at kind of the offerings that they provide to us, I know I grew up kind of on Luke Cage, the bulletproof black man that they shoot anyway, right? So I look at those things, and I looked at, the thing I loved about Black Panther were the varying perspectives, even this rivalry between T'Challa and Killmonger, just how life chart a course for two people that's completely different, where one person may not necessarily understand the other, one person's methods may not necessarily be the same, but at the end of the day, if you're imperfect, it shows you're harmed by something that you had to go through, right? T'Challa had to lose his dad, and he had to deal with the sorrow of that. Killmonger lost his father too, and he had to deal with growing up Black in America, being in the white man military, and all that stuff in order to reclaim his name, to be somebody again. And right. It's sad that they couldn't work it all out and come back together, I guess.
Well, but I think the questions raised in the movie were really the onus put back on the fans to do something and to answer those questions. Like, what is our obligation to each other across the waters? You know, we're talking about Pan-Africanism now, you know, and not everybody agrees with that. You know, what is our duty? Do we share? You know, I am different, and although I felt different when I, you know, walked out looking for my host, nobody made me feel different when I was in Ghana. They fully embraced me. They wanted to show me everything and get me up to speed. So, you know, whatever I thought, I had a totally different experience when I got there, but it also made me proud to be an African American. And I think even that show, Black Panther, opened the doors for other groups. There's, you know, the latest comic or sci-fi thing out. Shoot, I can't call it, Jesse.
Shang-Chi, yes. Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I mean, he publicly thanked all of the makers, and Black Panther was a way maker. I see it in children's literature. Padma Lakshmi now has a book out, Tomatoes for Nyla, where there's more representation. And so that's the one thing that I don't really think people that aren't from here understand, that, you know, we don't see ourselves embedded in culture the way you see. You know, when I got off the plane and got the tomato can had somebody Black on it, you know, the toothpaste, anything that you would pick up. So you get that reinforcement, the positive reinforcement. And here it's hidden, it's subtle, or it gets co-opted. And so I'm just really glad for platforms like this, for, you know, all the Netflix shows. High on the Hog is one I recommend.
Yes.
That Dr. Jessica Harris, oh my goodness, that whole thing of taking the trip from Benin and Nigeria and Ghana and back to the United States to show how Africans influence American cooking and cuisine, and it's not elevated, but everybody loves it. You know, it's talked about in a different way. Or the idea that the foods that we eat aren't healthy, totally untrue. You know, if mac and cheese is full of cheese, butter, and eggs, so is keto. You know, but we don't call it that. So it just really all of those things were something for me to ponder when I came back.
All right. Oh, so if you're joining us, we hosted the great Stephanie Collier, who's based out of Texas. She has a diverse background. She's traveled to the continent, and we're having a good time with her here. If you haven't done so already, please do so. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and your life will not be the same again. Okay, so I'm gonna hand over to my co-host, Nkechi.
It's like you and I are here. It's like you always know when I have a question. So my question for you, Stephanie, is: do you think, and this is a little bit more on the serious side, do you think that there is a huge disconnect between the younger generation of African Americans and Africans? Because you did make a comment about when you were in Ghana, most people look like you. Even on, you know, the tomato cans, you see people who look like you. And as an outsider looking in, because I did live in Nigeria for a couple of years before coming here, these aren't things that we are cognizant of. It's just like, okay, yeah, everybody looks like me. That's how it should be. So when we come here, we don't even realize that a lot of things are not catered to Black people. And we just go with the flow. It's like, well, that's just how it is. So that's why I'm asking the question, do you think that there is a disconnect? Because I do see on social media a lot of, I follow a lot of these pro-Black pages. And in the comment section, there's always back and forth between Africans and African Americans, especially the younger ones, where you have Africans telling African Americans, oh, we're the same. But then you have African Americans feeling like they're not the same. So my question to you is, do you think that there is a disconnect? And if so, how can we do a better job to come together and work together?
Sure. So it to me, it's all about having the conversation, and shows like this, I think, serve that purpose. So, is there a disconnect? Yes and no, because we love anything Afrocentric. We rocking it. We want to incorporate it. We have access to so much information these days through the internet. We're dancing to Afro beats. We're doing that. But what we aren't doing a great job of is having conversations. And so, like African American descendants of slavery feel a certain way about the recognition and the placement, the access to things in this country. For example, Kamala Harris is vice president. Oh, big time dispute over that, even within our own communities.
Yes.
Because she's not an African American descendant of slave. So Africans come, and people, there's this talk. I'm gonna just be real. In organizations, they want to join the sororities, they want to join the fraternities, they want to take it over and change it up like what they think it should be about status versus like the achievement piece and equalizing. And there is this feeling that foreigners will get more respect than Americans, African Americans, because you're still otherized, even though you're obviously Black, you're not Black like us. So I say we have to have conversations about culture. We have to become familiar. We have to invite each other. We have to create space for conversation. We should be working together. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be, but we should also respect one another's perspectives. So I certainly, while I was in Ghana, the infrastructure is what stood out to me. And I'm like, why is roads raggedy? But you know what? They like it. It ain't my business. It wouldn't be proper for me to try to impose my westernized view of things on something that's existed for thousands of years successfully, right? But I see the similarities. I see where we have common ground, and all we have to do is have the conversation, I think.
Okay, I guess it's your daughter. It says, "Go, mom, building a story."
Yeah,
Johnny
that's my
Mirage.
beautiful baby, Rodney Mirage. She is so awesome. She is, oh my goodness, I'm so proud of her. She is a sophomore at the University of Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's got a 4.0 GPA, baby. She's doing it, dog.
No better.
Good, Reggie.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it first name, Reggie?
Rajani.
Oh,
Mirage. Yes, her father is from Trinidad, West Indies. Another colony, another doggone colony, or a British colony, former colony. So her father is of South Asian descent. He's Indian, and so that's I was intentional in making sure I gave her a name that stood out. I told her, like Beyonce, but I wanted her to be proud of who she is and represent.
Absolutely.
Proud of you, Reggie.
Yeah, I just wanted to getting back to what you said about bringing everybody together. The other element that I think we must always recognize is there is always a white person in the background stirring it up, like they see when there's division. And I think the hard part to deal with is our divisions, I think, are about, in my opinion, time and culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are raised differently. We've had different life experiences, and we've been apart for a long time, right? Yeah. So we're trying to bring a family back together, but you know how it is at a family reunion. You got some cousins that's gonna grill, some cousins that's gonna smoke.
Right.
Like, everybody.
I'm always on the pound cake, Jesse.
Right. Everybody's doing that thing, but at the end of the reunion, everybody at least comes together for something, right? And I think what we have to realize is that, especially for young people, when we put things out there, especially on social media where it can go viral and travel, when you put things out there that aren't well thought out and that aren't helpful and that aren't positive on either side, it has a tendency to denigrate the people you're talking about, and you're also denigrating yourself because we're all part of the same family tree.
Yes.
And somebody's going to take that snippet and they're going to go and they're going to send it to some other group of people to say, look, this is what so-and-so thinks about you.
Right.
So that they generalize an opinion about folks before they've met. So I think you're right. Like if we are getting involved in traveling, communicating, not bringing our concepts and ideas of how things work in our sphere, but embracing that other people can do it just as good and just do it differently, right? And build kind of off that platform of love and appreciation. I feel like we'll go far. And I get really sad when I see young people, because you always want young people to be like better. And
absolutely.
But I still have hope. I think as long as there's Black people, I'm always going to have hope.
Okay. So,
okay. Just really quick, we have to prioritize that. So, you asked me about what made me decide to go. It's because I prioritized it. So I tell, after my trip, I tell people, look, before you spend money going to Mexico, going to Europe, going to wherever, you need to save your money. First of all, get your passport.
Yes.
And second of all, prioritize a trip to the motherland, really prioritize it and plan it and talk to people, because that I wish I would have done it sooner. That was my only regret. I wish I would have done it sooner. And the thing about conversations that you raised, Jesse, is, some of those conversations need to be had in private. If there's a fallout, if there's a disagreement, that shouldn't be on display for the world. And because people, they're going to monetize it, they're going to use it, whatever.
Yes.
Some of those conversations we need to have face to face. We need to have in private. We need to go, like I went, with an open mind and open heart, and just that hug, man. Just let's squash that beef, and let's and sit down over a plate of food, right? Or let me show you something that's unique to my culture. Or even I've even started following the guy. He's I can't call his name. He's a linguist, and he said something that really helped scrape some of the decolonization off my brain. He said, remember, English was not our first language. Like the way that we learned to speak English, African Americans, was because somebody else, we picked it up, and we had all kind of variations. So when he said that, though, it made me think about how we even jump on each other about how we pronounce things, or we call it code switching. But Jesse and I, we understand each other with a look of the way we laugh or other things, and it really just made me rethink how I think. It's a constant process because we have been colonized. All of us come out of colonization, and we have to heal that. We have to heal it together.
All right. Well said. Well said, sister. So Jonathan is saying, I think it's a disconnect. I believe we should come together in unity. We are forced together versus spats amongst each other. One band, one sound, regardless of our cultural differences. We are one. Wow. That's powerful, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your comments. I don't know which of you knows Jonathan, but I like Jonathan already.
Yeah. Jonathan, you're right. We do need to come together, but being a conflict resolution specialist, I know that it's not just that easy. We have to identify some goals. We have to talk through the hurt and the pain. We have to celebrate each other. And I thank you all so much for making me feel celebrated today. We have to also talk about, what are our interests and who's not in our corner. Harriet Tubman said she could have freed a whole lot more if they wanted to get free. And some people she couldn't bring along. She just shoot them right there. So, we have to really be cognizant that those things happen and they are reality. But I think on individual level, on some organizational levels, we just have to keep the dialogue going, keep that back and forth flow going.
All right, so I think this is for you, Stephanie. Michael's asking, what do you think about Africans in diaspora investing back home? Is it too risky?
Well, you have to be very sure about what you're investing in. I would say before you break off any money, you need to go and see for yourself. You need to work with, other businesses. There are friends that I have here in the United States that I promote and invest in their business. And so that's how I chose to do it. So yeah, it's risky, but it's risky like everything else is. Like I wouldn't give somebody money in the United States. Scams happen every day.
Scams happen everywhere.
Yeah. And one of the things I did before I left was whatever money that I had left in my pocket, I bought up beads. Y'all, I got so many beads. I'm still giving away beads. I decided to help a small artisan and buy up beads. I've got fabric connections, and then I've got folks that are here in the United States that I support. So yeah, buy property, but make sure you go through the right channels. Mm-hmm. But also be informed. Not every country is stable. You can think you're gonna show up and reunite and reunify and get run up out of there. There's a lot to consider before you do that.
Yeah, and to echo that, yes, you definitely need a connection, someone on the ground, somebody reliable, a friend like our brother William. He has another brother. I'm going to call his name Azu. I call him. Oh, what's his? John. John is his legal name, but I've known him from a kid. So, and that guy, they started an NGO together in Ghana, and it's about education and agriculture. Now, this is someone who is reliable on the ground and who knows the system. So, always know somebody there who, if you want to invest, who can be called upon to help you out. So, not just throw your money anywhere. And then, yes, buy property. There's different ways to invest. There's a lot of money to be made on the continent. All right. So Jonathan says, I understand the round table, meaning a sit down or long discussion.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? We're going to be winding down now. Okay, Jesse, go ahead.
It's not a question. I just want to thank you again for coming on to the show, providing us all of this insight, all of your knowledge, and just the inspiration, because now that you've broken down kind of your lineage and what you come from, I can see the power in you. And I know that we're going to be in a position moving forward where hopefully people not knowing what has happened in the past is going to be a thing of the past. Like, hopefully people are going to be educated enough to know what they don't know, and they're going to be educated enough to go pursue the information by getting their passports, by traveling, by getting involved in civic organizations, by trying to do something to push the envelope so that we can bring this bridge together and get us all on the same page. So I think you have gotten the ball rolling. We've got a lot of work to do, but I'm glad to know that you're already out here doing it.
Well, Jesse, I can't say thank you to you and Fred. Just everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. And you asked me a question about why am I so passionate, and it made me think about the comments that we've received today, and the bridge building. It's really been about reunification for me. I thought about what must my ancestors have felt like upon emancipation, trying to find each other through the different things that happened in American history, the Great Migration, because some of my folks left the South and went to California, went to Chicago, and we lost each other. But through the ancestry research that I've been able to do, the DNA matches, I've been able to find people. I finally, I've started some Facebook pages for my Runnels family from my mother's side. They're from Oklahoma, and my Texas family, the Bateman descendants. And I am always amazed. The documentation that's right there under our fingertips. Freedmen's Bureau has released some more records. So it just takes the time and it takes, the willingness. But I really am driven by this desire, this need to reunify, not only here in the United States, but across the water. And, till the day I die, I'm going to be looking for my family back in the continent. I'm trying not to get choked up, but it's what has been stolen from us, and we've never been compensated for it. We have never been made right, and I'm trying to at least write what I can, and to find as many people, whether they're blood relatives or my play cousins, I'm accepting all family, and I think that goes towards the healing that we all need.
Absolutely.
Sure, cousin Stephanie. Definitely adopt you. Jonathan said he came since Danielle came on. Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah. And then Michael says, "What do you think about African music?"
I love it, man. My first day or second day there, my host Obing told me to come during this festival of chief, or the different I don't know what you call them, but the sets, the different folks that are represented. So we're in Cape Coast, and these parades are going by, and the first time that I heard that drum and that bass drop, Jesse, you know what happened. I started moving. Oh my goodness. I'm like, this is where I get it from. And I heard the trumpets playing. I'm like, man, this sounds like New Orleans. Well, we do this here. We do that in the Caribbean. Like this, I see where we get it from. I absolutely love African music. I love all of it. I dance every dance I can. If I can't get it right, I ask somebody to teach me. Love it. And I like all of it, not just the Afro beats, but there's so much that's been sampled in hip hop music. I think about Nas and Junior Gong have a song. It's the Sabali. It's some of it's in French, and they're artists from Mali, and there's just in South African music like the Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. I remember them in look, I'm dating myself, in the 80s. Just all of it.
Yeah. Never mind. You can tell he's still young at heart, and we still expect you to be around for long.
That's right.
That's right. Jonathan said, "I love the conversations. Well needed in our community as a whole. One band, one sound." Thanks, Jonathan. Well, without any more questions, we're gonna.
Yeah, these shows always run so fast. Like the hour goes by before you even know that the hour's gone by. But as we stated before, if you have not already done so, make sure that you are following us on Facebook, on Instagram at the Pan Africana Show, Facebook at Pan Africana presented by Afroscope, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, just make sure if the winter is coming, you see Fred has his Pan Africana hoodie on. It's going to start getting chilly. If you're on the East Coast, you know it's coming. So go ahead and put in that order and get you a hoodie or T-shirts if you're still on the West Coast and you're going to be in California all winter. Get that. But definitely continue to check us out. We're glad that you all were able to join us. It's always great. And we've got Ketchy on here. Thank you again for joining us. It's always fun. And if you all haven't learned anything today, I don't know what else to tell you. We got libraries, we got Google, but this is direct to the source. So hopefully you all were able to take some nuggets from this. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Before we go, I want to put out a disclaimer. You heard already. This is a grown woman, so we're gonna say that when she provides any contact information for you to reach out, This is not the time for you to pull up from half court and shoot whatever shots that you're trying to send. We're not for that, right? Shut it down now. So,
Yes,
if you will
thank you. Thank you for protecting my integrity.
Yes.
Big brother.
Yes. You know, you never know who's listening, and you never know who already got stuff ready to send. So we just trying to cancel it out right now. But if the people wanted to reach out to you to find out more about your adventures or find out more about what the work you do, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
So my handle is in the ads that you all put out for today. And by the way, it is, in case you were wondering, it's Buffalo Soldier Girl, because you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Buffalo Soldier Girl. You know, go listen to the Bob Marley song and research Buffalo Soldiers. And you know, I am a cowgirl too. So, but that's the best way to reach me, and that's on Instagram. You can send me a message there. I don't really do much with folks on Facebook because, you know, my kids and all that are there. I'm on LinkedIn as Stephanie Collier, if you want to find me there too. And I'm always happy to speak at events or educate more, you know, outside of our hour together today. I'm always happy to do that.
Okay, so it said it's at Buffalo Soldier Girl?
Yes, the one the handle, my Instagram handle.
Okay, I just added it.
Okay.
Oh, like it at Buffalo Soldier Girl?
No, it's at BFLOSLDRGRL.
Okay, could you type it in the private chat while I go to Michael's comment? Let's see what did Michael say. Oh, Michael didn't. Oh. You can type in the private chat and then I'll get to it.
I'm gonna get it right now. I should have done that. I should have been ready.
Okay, I'll go to the National Council of share.
Yeah, and
okay,
ncnw.org. You can look for the Ruth Jones McClendon section is for San Antonio, but if you don't live in San Antonio, you can find your local chapter. There are also collegiate chapters for anyone that's in college right now, if you're listening.
Okay.
And hey, I got a private message from Messenger. My brother from another mother, Reverend Melvin Amerson from San Antonio, St. Paul United Methodist Church, my church family. He says, I enjoyed a great interview and dialogue. And Robin Caldwell, she is a blogger.
Wow.
Southern Belle, and she writes pieces for magazines. She says beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
thank
Stephanie,
you
I have one more question for you. Membership for the National Council of Negro Women, is it open to just women or for everybody?
It's open to everybody. So the women mostly are involved with like the section work. There is a men's auxiliary, C.L. Franklin chapters, and then the youth. We do mentor youth of all ages. And then there's the collegiate chapters that are active on various college campuses. So there's something for everybody. If you want to get involved, we have a place for you.
You said C.L. Franklin, like Aretha Franklin dad?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it sanctified,
All right, so that's Sister Collier's Instagram, and you can also reach out on LinkedIn. Stephanie Collier, M. Collier. And before we go, I actually just purchased my stuff last night from Niger Food Depot. And Kechi shared with us, and I didn't know it was actually one of Kechi's friends. Ooh. And yeah, they're giving a discount to the whole family. So just put Pan Africana down, anything $25 or more. They'll give you the what do you call it? A discount. Okay, Niger Food Depot. Yeah, Let me share it and
Yes,
let me show you what it looks like before we go. And then the founder and then the owner is going to be joining us soon, one of these days. So Toji, if you're watching, get ready. So this is it. So it's they can send you all the good stuff nationwide. Yeah, so you go to shop now, and then what happened? Yeah. Oh, there we go. So you can buy some yams straight out of Ghana. You know, all the good stuff, and sponges,
Some beads, plantain chips.
Yeah, plantain chips, bead, black soap, ground crayfish, potato chips, plantain chips, not potato chips, and then all the good stuff. Yeah. All right. So let's support our own and support one another.
They ship
NigerFoodDepot.com.
Yes, they actually ship to North Carolina. They
Yes.
actually don't ship
Yes.
to Alaska and Hawaii. Sorry, guys, but very soon.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Alaska, Hawaii, nobody told y'all to be out there.
Very soon. Okay. Oh, Toji's watching.
Just
Oh, he's actually watching. Yeah, Toji. Yeah. Jesse is throwing shade. So that's him right there. Hi, so everyone say hi to Toju.
Hey.
I told you. You know what? And I didn't do this earlier. But shout out
Toju,
to
I'm expecting my stuff in the next. Yeah.
What were you saying, Steph?
No, I didn't
Alright.
do this, but shout out to my Ghana family. They're watching from Ghana this
Yes.
afternoon.
Okay. Yes.
Hey guys,
all
thank
right.
you for taking care of
Oh, they're
Stephanie.
watching. Oh, they're being family and then.
Yes. North Carolina, we got you. Perfect. I'm gonna go look on there and see what I want to get. Uh-oh. Did Fred freeze? Fred, you?
Okay, I don't know. I'm sort of frozen. Can you all hear me? I'm frozen on my
Yeah, we
end.
can hear you.
I hear you now.
You hear me now? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's it for today. Okay, that's it for today. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend. Oh, told you my Yoruba man. Yeah, he's a yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yes, Michael. He's a Yoruba man. Jesse's. Yes. All right. Okay, we have too much fun on here. Yeah, Jesse is proud to be Yoruba. So bye, everyone. Have a good weekend, and we'll see
Bye,
Stephanie
guys.
backstage.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, don't leave,
Bye.
Stephanie. We're gonna talk to you back.